When she grips you tighter, pulls you in deeper, that's not random. That's not just passion. That's her body speaking a language most men never learn to understand. In that moment, she's revealing something deeper, something emotional, instinctive, and powerful. And if you don't know what it means, you're missing the real connection. You're in the moment. The connection is real. Her breath is heavy. Your heart is racing. And then, without warning, you feel it. Her body tightens, grips you, pulls you in deeper, not by accident, not randomly, but with purpose. You're in the middle of something real, the kind of moment that doesn't need words. Her breathing changes. Your touch becomes deeper, slower, and then suddenly you feel it. Her body tightens around you. It's not just tight, it pulls you in. Like her body is saying something her lips haven't spoken. Most men don't even notice it. Others just think it's some random physical response. But the truth is, when a woman's body pushes you deeper, it's a language of its own, a mix of biology, instinct, and emotional connection. And if you're the kind of man who wants to understand intimacy beyond the surface, then this moment is something you should never ignore. Let's take a moment to understand what's actually happening here. Not from a dirty, casual perspective, but from a deeper, more mature view. A woman's vaginal muscles aren't passive. They are active, sensitive, and responsive to both physical sensation and emotional states. When she's truly aroused, truly connected, her pelvic floor muscles start engaging in ways she can't even consciously control. These muscles tighten, pulse, and sometimes pull. And when she feels safe, relaxed, and emotionally open, those muscles might just draw you in deeper than before. This isn't a coincidence. It's a biological invitation and an emotional signal. Imagine this. She's not just letting you in. Her body is asking for more of you, not just physically, but energetically. It's her way of saying, I trust you. I want to feel you closer. I want to lose myself in this connection. That one movement, that subtle contraction, could be her body's way of showing her surrender, her passion, or even her desire for emotional closeness in that exact moment. But most men miss this. They feel it, sure, but they don't understand what it means. There are three major things happening when this moment occurs. First, there's arousal, pure biological readiness. Her body is responding to stimulation, to rhythm, to energy. Second, there's emotional safety. Her body only relaxes fully and responds deeply when she feels emotionally secure. And third, there's pleasure. Real, raw pleasure that causes involuntary muscle contractions, sometimes known as orgasmic reflexes. These three things don't always happen together, but when they do, you get that powerful moment where she doesn't just accept your presence, she pulls you in. It's also important to remember that the vagina has its own way of communicating, just like the heart races. When you're nervous or excited, the vaginal muscles tighten and move when aroused or emotionally activated. Some women may not even be aware that they're doing it. It's like blinking. You don't always control it, but it says something about your state of being. That's why it's important to never reduce this moment to something mechanical or casual. When her body reacts that way, and especially if it happens more than once, it's a sign you're creating a real experience, not just physically but emotionally too. There's also an emotional vulnerability that comes with this reaction. A woman doesn't just open herself to you physically. She opens up layers of trust, comfort, and connection. Think about it. Would her body pull you deeper if she was mentally distracted, or uncomfortable, or bored? Probably not. Her body responds best when she feels safe, when she feels seen, when she feels like the experience isn't just about you, but about both of you. That's the difference between casual sex and real intimacy. That's the difference between just going through the motions and truly making love. Let me tell you something even deeper. There have been countless stories, real ones, where women describe that feeling of their body locking in with someone they love or trust. They describe it as magnetic, as if their body doesn't want to let go. Some even say it felt like they wanted him inside their soul. That's not poetry. That's biology and emotional truth mixing into one moment. So when it happens, don't just feel proud. Feel present, because her body is giving you access to something sacred, even if it only lasts a few seconds. Now, this doesn't mean that every time this happens she's falling in love. That would be a myth. Sometimes it's just deep physical compatibility. Sometimes it's high arousal. And yes, sometimes it's emotional connection. But as a man, your job isn't to make assumptions. It's to be aware, to be conscious, to understand that there's a language being spoken through her body. And your job is to listen, not just react. The more you educate yourself about these experiences, the more respectful, connected, and powerful your presence becomes in intimate moments. It's no longer about performing or lasting longer. It becomes about connection, about reading her cues, about giving and receiving in a way that leaves both people feeling full, seen, and satisfied. That's real intimacy. So the next time you're in that moment and you feel her body pull you deeper, pause, not physically, but mentally. Pause and feel it. Stand it. Respect it. Don't rush past. Because that moment is telling you something valuable, something emotional, something rare. It means her body feels safe with you. It means she's in the moment. It means for those seconds, she's letting go of the world and inviting you deeper into hers. That's not just sex. That's communication. That's chemistry. That's connection. And if you're wise enough to understand it, you'll never take that moment for granted again. There's a moment during intimacy that goes far beyond physical movement. It's silent, it's deep, and it often catches you off guard. She pulls you closer, not with her hands, but with her body. A gentle, powerful tug that draws you deeper inside her. And while most men think it's just part of sex, what they don't realize is that it's often her way of expressing something emotional, something her words might never say out loud. That movement, that pull, is often the body's response to emotional trust, mental closeness, and unspoken affection. In other words, when her body pulls you in, her heart might be reaching out too. This isn't about romantic fantasy. It's about understanding how emotion and physical connection are tied so closely in a woman's experience. For many women, sex isn't just about pleasure or climax. It's about feeling connected, feeling desired, feeling emotionally safe. And when that connection becomes strong enough, her body responds in ways that are involuntary but meaningful. That's when you'll feel her tightening around you, pulling you closer. Sometimes even wrapping her legs around you like she doesn't want to let go. That's not just arousal, that's her way of saying, stay here. I want this. I feel close to you. Now think about that. Think about how powerful that is. We live in a world where most people struggle to express emotion clearly. We're told to be strong, to not catch feelings, to stay casual. But in that moment when her body pulls you deeper, she's breaking every emotional wall without saying a single word. It's vulnerability, it's openness, it's trust. And it happens without her needing to explain it. That's why this moment shouldn't be ignored. If a woman trusts you enough to get physically close and then opens herself up emotionally through that physical act, it's not just sex anymore. It's something more layered, something deeper. It could mean she feels safe. It could mean she feels emotionally attached. It could even mean that in that moment she doesn't want anything or anyone else, just you. The emotional connection in sex is rarely talked about, especially among men, but it's a crucial piece of the puzzle if you truly want to understand women. When you're physically intimate with someone, her body will often mirror her emotional state. If she's holding back emotionally, her body might stay guarded. You might feel like something's off, like the connection isn't flowing. But if she's emotionally open, you'll feel her relaxing, becoming more responsive, more connected. And when she pulls you deeper, it's her way of saying, I trust you with all of me. This is especially true if you've built emotional chemistry outside the bedroom. Small things like listening to her, making her laugh, making her feel valued. These things build trust, and when that trust is strong, her body responds to you differently. It's no longer about going through the motions. It becomes about surrendering to the moment. You become more than just a physical presence. You become someone she feels emotionally and physically safe with. And that's when her body starts to do things she can't control, like pulling you deeper. But here's where a lot of men go wrong. They notice the moment but misunderstand it. They take it as a sign of love or assume she's emotionally committed just because of how intense the experience was. That's not always the case. Emotional connection doesn't always mean she wants a relationship. Sometimes it just means she felt something powerful in that moment. She felt safe, close, and emotionally synced. And that moment mattered even if it didn't lead to something long-term. So the key is to understand it, appreciate it, but not assume too much. Respect the moment for what it is, a powerful emotional connection expressed through the physical body. And if it happens more than once, if you notice her pulling you in every time, if she touches you softly afterward or looks at you differently, that's when you start to see that this connection might be deeper than just physical. That's when her body is doing the talking that her heart isn't ready to say out loud yet. And here's the beauty of it all. When a man starts to understand these signs, he becomes more than just a lover. He becomes someone who is emotionally intelligent, present, and aware. He stops chasing surface-level moments and starts creating deeper experiences. Experiences that stay with her long after the night is over. And whether or not the relationship continues, she will remember how she felt with you. Not just the touch, but the emotional safety and connection that allowed her to let go. Women aren't looking for perfect bodies or mind-blowing performance. What they truly crave deep down is presence. A partner who is with them, not just on them. A man who notices the little things, the change in breathing, the tremble in her legs, the way she pulls him closer even when her words stay silent. That's where real intimacy lives. Not in the speed or the rhythm, but in the silence, in the unspoken language of connection. So next time you're with her and she pulls you in, feel it. Don't rush past it. Don't treat it like a random act. Let it sink in. Let it remind you that you're not just sharing a moment, you're sharing energy. You're becoming a part of something emotional, something deeper than physical pleasure. Because when her body says, "Come closer," and you actually understand what that means, you've stepped into a level of intimacy most people never reach. You've moved from sex to connection, from noise to meaning, from performance to presence. There's a moment during intimacy that's so subtle, so instinctive, that most men don't even notice it. Or if they do, they don't realize what it means. You're in the flow of passion. Everything is heating up, and then suddenly her body responds. It tightens, grips you, and then pulls you in deeper. It feels like she's holding you from the inside, almost drawing you in with invisible strength. And while most guys might just take it as a sign that she's enjoying it, there's actually a deeper biological reason behind this incredible reaction. What you just experienced is one of the most powerful, involuntary reflexes of the female body, a response driven by pleasure, arousal, and nature itself. This action isn't something she's consciously doing. It's her nervous system responding to peak sensation. Her body is entering a state of intense stimulation, and as it does, her pelvic floor muscles, particularly the pubococcygeus or PC muscles, start to contract rhythmically. These contractions are not random. They are part of the orgasmic reflex, and one of their natural results is a tightening or gripping sensation. Sometimes these muscles don't just tighten, they seem to pull inward, and for the man, this feels like being drawn in deeper, almost as if her body is craving a closer, more complete connection. It's biology, but it's also much more than that. The female orgasm is an extremely complex process. Unlike the male orgasm, which is usually quick and linear, the female body builds arousal in waves. When those waves reach their peak, and her mental and emotional state aligns with the physical stimulation, the result is powerful. Her body lets go and nature takes over. That's when those deep inner contractions start. Firm, rhythmic pulses that can last several seconds, sometimes even longer depending on her sensitivity and mood. But here's the deeper part. These contractions don't just happen to feel good. They serve a reproductive purpose too. From a biological standpoint, this pulling effect is designed to help with sperm retention and movement toward the cervix. It's nature's way of increasing the chance of conception during fertile times. So when you feel her pulling you in tighter, especially during or right before orgasm, it's not just passion, it's nature doing its work. The female body, whether she's thinking about babies or not, responds to deep pleasure by trying to bring the partner closer, closer to her body, closer to her energy, closer to her core. That's why it feels so personal, so intense, because in that moment she isn't just letting you in. Her body is welcoming you in completely and involuntarily. It's a level of intimacy that words can't reach, a form of communication that only happens when two people are deeply in sync, and her body is fully aroused, relaxed, and open to the experience. Now, here's something most men don't realize. These reflexes aren't automatic every time. They require a certain level of emotional comfort, safety, and connection. If a woman is distracted, uncomfortable, insecure, or emotionally disconnected, her body won't relax enough to reach that level of response. That's why foreplay, emotional bonding, and communication are so critical. They don't just help her get in the mood, they allow her to feel safe enough to surrender. And only in that surrender does the body open up in this beautiful primal wah. So, when her body starts reacting like this, tightening, gripping, pulling, it's not something to ignore or take lightly. It's a sign that she's in the zone. Her mind is quiet, her body is alive, and you've helped her get to that point. It's one of the highest compliments her body can give you, even if she doesn't say a word. And trust me, she feels it too. Women often describe this sensation as losing control in the best way possible. Some even say it feels like their body is craving more, like they're melting into the experience, or like they don't want the connection to stop. And that's what makes it so powerful. Because this isn't about just physical pleasure anymore. This is about connection. You're no longer just inside her body. You're part of her experience. Your rhythm, your energy, your awareness, they all contribute to that involuntary reaction. And if you're present in that moment, if you notice it, feel it, appreciate it, your connection goes to a different level. But here's a word of caution. Never assume this reaction means she's in love, or that it always comes with emotional attachment. The body is honest, but it's also complex. Just because her body reacts this way doesn't mean she's emotionally bonded for life. It simply means that in that moment you helped her feel something intense, real, and raw. It means her body trusted yours, and that's something to respect, not possess. There are also different degrees of this pulling sensation. Some women experience light, gentle contractions. Others may feel intense waves that seem to grip and hold. It varies from person to person and from moment to moment. Sometimes it depends on her cycle, her stress levels, how connected she feels to you, and even how much she's hydrated or rested. The female body is a mystery in motion, and when you learn to read it, listen to it, and respect it, your experiences become deeper than you ever thought possible. The truth is, what happens inside her during those moments isn't just physical, it's spiritual, emotional, and deeply biological. When her body pushes you deeper, pulls you in, tightens around you, it's a dance of nature, desire, and surrender. And it's rare. It doesn't happen with everyone. That's why when it does happen, you should be fully present, fully aware, and fully respectful. Because in those few seconds, you're not just having sex, you're witnessing the full power of the female body in its most vulnerable, most responsive, most honest form. And once you understand that, you'll never see those moments the same way again. There are moments in intimacy that don't need words. Her eyes may be closed, her breathing deep and shaky, but her body is speaking, and if you know how to listen, you'll hear everything. One of the most powerful unspoken messages happens when she pulls you in deeper without saying a single thing. Not with her hands, not with her voice, but with her body. It's a nonverbal cue. And this cue, when understood, can transform a physical moment into something far more meaningful. But here's the truth. Most men miss it completely. Not because they don't care, but because they've never been taught to read her body language, especially in intimate situations. When she pulls you deeper, it's not just about physical sensation. It's a sign, a signal. And the meaning of that signal changes depending on the energy, the connection, and the emotional state in the room. In that moment, her body could be saying many things. Don't stop. I want to feel closer. I'm losing control in the best way. Or even, I trust you enough to surrender. These messages are not written in words or shouted out loud. They're quiet, they're emotional, they're instinctive, and they are powerful if you know how to hear them. You see, during intimacy, the female body is constantly communicating. It tells you when it's comfortable. It shows you when it's disconnected. It reacts when it's emotionally involved. And it responds when it feels safe and fully immersed in the experience. That pull you feel when her body grips you and draws you in is one of the clearest examples of her body speaking to yours. But if you're only focused on your own experience, if you're only chasing climax, you'll miss it completely. And by missing it, you miss the chance to connect on a much deeper level. Reading nonverbal cues during sex is an art form, and it starts with awareness. The way she breathes, the way her hands move, how her back arches, the way her thighs wrap around you. These are not random actions. These are messages, and they carry meaning. Some are about comfort, others about passion, some are about hesitation, others are signs of emotional opening, but only men who are present can pick up on them. Now let's focus on one of the most powerful,